I love seeing celebrities do hot ones because like you get more of their like raw like emotional side, and just like unfiltered because like you have
Yeah.
fucking hot shit in your mouth and like
Should we do a hot ones challenge?
should should we? I mean, hot what? Hot like we should
The
do
hot
like
the kit.
oh we can do it. Oh yeah, like let's do the fucking kit. Let's do it with a
We're-
guest, like a prominent guest, and be like
Yeah.
like a spill your guts, like
Yeah.
James Corden. That would be fun, in
Yeah.
my humble opinion. It's the Pop Report.
So juicy.
Hey, Miss Ma'am.
Oh, hi.
Hey, hey, bitch? Question mark. That's gonna be like the first set of merch is hey, bitch? Question mark.
Big question mark.
I love how you and I went to events last night, and we were texting each other throughout the night, and we were so close but so far from each other.
I
Like,
know.
how was your? What did you go to last night? Was it Tar and Roses, Bubbles, and what?
Diamonds and Rose. Bravo
Okay.
has like a pop-up brunch experience that they're doing at EPLP in West Hollywood. So they invited me to that. I guess it was like the pre-launch before it officially opens, or I guess it's now open as of today, as of Friday. They're officially kicked off. So I went on Wednesday night to go and enjoy some Bravo experiences.
Would you say it was bravoed up, or like was it enough?
There were so many people. There was so much going on. It was so hot in there too. Like I was like, oof. I thought I was gonna be inside in the AC, but because there are so many people, sometimes like the AC doesn't slap. So, but no, I had fun. There were some Bravo Lebs there. I saw some familiar faces. I had a good time. But I need to like actually go and like do the brunch experience. This was just like, cocktail party, but I was like, now I need the full experience. I need to go and eat and explore.
And you said Mr. Tom Sandoval was there. Were there any of the Bravo celebrities?
No, not Sandoval. Schwartzy was there.
Oh, Schwartzy was there. Okay.
Sandoval, I think, is keeping like a super low profile. I don't think he's coming out much these days. Schwartzy was there. There were a few of the OC housewives were there. James Kennedy was there. DJ James Kennedy.
DJ James Kennedy. You worm. You snake. See, I'm with it. I know the quotes and references. You tell me I don't know shit, but I know enough.
Okay, I'll give you that one. But yeah, I think that was it. I think they're gonna try to have as many Bravo Lebs throughout the pop-up as much as possible.
Interesting.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I was at a Spotify event, and there were a bunch of country singers and artists who performed. It was cute. I did make a cowboy hat, but then they lost it, so I don't have a cowboy hat. But I came with
This
my
always
phone.
happens to you when we go to events. Last time we went to a breakfast with Threads, and they were threading our names onto a very lovely tote bag, and Andy, of course, had to make them complete after they closed up shop and everything, and everyone was leaving. Andy's like, "Wait, you spelled my name wrong. Can
I didn't
you
do it a
drag?"
bitchy way. You
He's
know, like
like,
there's that
"Can you
meme of
drag
like Charlie
all of your
XCX.
tools back out and redo it from
No, they
scratch?"
profusely apologized, and I was like, "Girl, my
Yeah.
last name is not easy. I get it." But
But you also wrote it out for them at the
yeah,
beginning. Like we wrote we wrote it all out.
I love Threads. Please, please,
Yes.
please,
It wasn't.
don't
Yeah.
go away. But last night, Brandy Cyrus and Carly Pierce performed. So there was a cowgirl playlist that Spotify was promoting. Spotify's Coastal Cowgirl and Neon Cowgirl. So yeah, like it was fun. Cocktails, light bites, and at Desert 5, my favorite little like place. But yeah, we were so
That's
close,
fun
but
stuff.
so far.
We celebrated your birthday there last year, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's really fun. Like overall, just as a bar, like anyway, but I was bitter because I couldn't get a taco because everyone was packed by the taco stand. By the time I got there, they packed it up.
Gotta get there
Anyway.
early.
I think we should talk about everyone subscribing to the podcast. If you haven't, obviously it's your reminder.
Yes.
I highly encourage. I will come find you. I know where you live. I will take in for you and come to your house, whatever it is. But if you haven't subscribed, we, yes, are officially over 1,000 subscribers. It's awesome to see on YouTube that you all are like with it. We're starting to put out some more stuff on social too, like some little quick clips between episodes of just like news coming up, things happening. It's been a wild time. This is episode 25.
Oof.
I know. Do we get a cake?
A
When we hit
quarter of
50
the
or
way to
100.
100.
Bitch, you guessed it. But speaking of OC, earlier you talked about Housewives. There's something going on that you put in my ear on our little rundown here about Jennifer Lopez and her little bike ride. I saw like she posted on like social that Jenny was going to get Dolola at the Hamptons and she had her bike, but there's what a photo shoot that happened like before this and someone spotted them. I
So
don't know.
Whitney Port from The Hills, she was the one that everybody forgets about the most,
Oh my god.
because there were four of them. There was Lauren Conrad, there was Heidi Montag, there was Audrina Patridge, and then there was Whitney. And Whitney also had her short-lived spin-off, The City, that went nowhere. But so Whitney now has a podcast. I think it's called With Whip,
Ooh,
and
that's kind of
she
hard to
was
like say off the tongue. Like whip whip whip.
yeah. And so she, I guess, was in the Hamptons when JLo was in the Hamptons, and she was talking about how she basically witnessed JLo doing staged paparazzi pictures in the Hamptons. She's like, it was a total photo op. There was a photographer there, and she's like, but the crazy part is JLo was going to go get ice cream. She's like, but JLo never even went into the ice cream shop. She was just eating her ice cream and riding her bike like up and down the street as the paparazzi was like taking pictures of her. Like she was just trying to look cool and casual eating her ice cream. And she's like, it was totally like obviously a staged photo op because she didn't even go in the store to get her ice. Like someone got the ice cream for her and she was just riding her
Do you
bike with this cameraman.
But J-Lo is also money, and as she is saying, she doesn't want to go into public places to attract more attention. Do we, number one, believe Whitney? Number two, think that J-Lo would hire someone to get ice cream for her?
Well, I mean, Whitney was, it was more of like her own speculation, but based off of what she witnessed, she was like, it was pretty obvious because it's like,
Hmm.
who's just like, why is JLo just randomly riding her bike up and down the same street when you know that there's a photographer there? And JLo hates
Yeah.
the paparazzi, so you would think she would keep riding down the street to avoid the paparazzi rather than posing and eating her ice cream while riding her bike.
I don't know. Like, she also posted this Dolola clip, and she had her bike, and she's loading it up with Dolola. And she bought a bunch of Dolola to give to people who came into the store after, for any given purchase. And she said, look, I signed these, give them away to people. She was promoting the brand, but like she rode off into the parking lot after this. And so, like, did you really? It looks like a busy street. So she rode off her bike into the sunset, she said in the video. So I was just like, okay, these two together, how much bike riding is happening? I haven't been to the Hamptons. I don't know what it's like. I don't know if it actually turns into like a big trail at some point, but yeah, interesting that this was a thing.
I feel like she wants to make it look like she is cool, calm, like she's unbothered by the
Hmm.
Ben Affleck divorce rumors. I think she just wants to be like, look, I'm living my best life. I'm eating my ice cream. I'm doing my Delola. Like I'm enjoying my time in the Hamptons, and I couldn't be bothered by Ben Affleck.
But I also don't even drink alcohol, so that's why I have Dolola.
So weird. At least when I
Anyway,
had my alcohol brand, it was because I drank it daily.
and I pivot to the next topic. Jenna Ortega is also coming into the limelight right now. In our
Oh
hot in the
yeah.
headlines, she has made a statement that's getting some buzz. And if you didn't know, Jenna Ortega recently left the Scream franchise due to her what she claims to be a scheduling
Scheduling
conflict,
conflict.
which I can understand. She's booked and busy. She went from Wednesday schedule, like in their filming Wednesday. She obviously just did Beetlejuice. She's packed. But she is saying everyone is being too, quote, politically correct these days. And it is what people are tying into as the Melissa Barrera comments of being fired from Scream. For those who don't remember, Melissa Barrera was fired due to social media posts about Israel and Palestine. But Ortega made the comment saying, quote, the business that we work in is so touchy-feely. She also went on to say, quote, everybody wants to be politically correct, but I feel like in doing that, we lose a lot of our humanity and integrity because it lacks honesty.
Well, I think wasn't the question specifically in relation to Scream and the firing of. Um, I thought they asked her about it, and they were like, "How do you feel about your co-star having to exit the series?" And that's when she said, "I just think we're being too politically correct, and Like I thought she was commenting on Scream. I feel like she left because of that though, because it was like shortly after that that it was announced that Jenna Ortega was leaving, which I'm fine with. The two of them, the two sister storyline on Scream, didn't really ever do it for me. I'm more excited to see Nev Campbell come back. We need Sydney.
Yeah, so Ortega has posted in support of Palestine for what has been obviously a very big talked about moment in Hollywood. This was a conversation with Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
Barrera was fired from the seventh installment of the Scream franchise over her posts likening Gaza to a concentration camp. Um, so Ortega refused to be stifled on this, saying like the business we work in, is X quote. So
Yeah.
it was like in direct kind of response to what was happening. And
Yeah.
Spyglass said, look, like we don't tolerate what's going on. But it's a lot of this, situation of actors being let go from jobs based on stances and based on like political affiliations and more. It is really a pivoting time. I don't know what the like all good things come to an end, quote unquote, like will have. Obviously, we've had a lot of movements in Hollywood of like women's rights to like country rights to like politics, and everything has its reckoning at some point. So
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to happen with this in the future. Um, Obviously, we
Yeah.
had like in the 2010s, we had like the movement about like women in entertainment and like what happens behind the scenes with men, and then the believing survivors and victims like 10 years later is taking a different stance of, unfortunately, people are like, do we actually believe this person? Do we actually like have that happening? So this, I'm interested to see how affiliations and more transpire over the next few years in Hollywood, and if there will be like a reckoning of X person was left from X job due to their affiliations.
I was surprised that they even fired her over that because I just feel the thing is, it's like when you're a company, you need to have a standard. So I agree with Jenna Ortega in saying that we have become too politically correct, and actors should be allowed to have their opinions. And I don't think that those opinions should affect their job because it's like then you have to decide because then it comes down to like a matter of morality and like what are your political affiliations, and it's not fair to all of your employees if you believe one thing politically and they're not allowed to when their job isn't affected by their political affiliation. So I think either you're going to completely say no political statements, and that's a standard across the board, and that means you can't post in support of one person or another. You can't just, you either set a standard of no politics or you kind of allow everybody to be able to have their own liberties as to
Mhm.
what they want to believe in and whether or not they want to declare that.
I think it was also like when she did post, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know public discourse may come from this, but I think Melissa was one of the early celebrities
Yeah.
to speak about the Palestine movement. But I think people were just looking at more of the word choicing of using words like genocide and more and ethnic cleansing. I
Yeah.
think that's where people were like,
What did
okay,
she say exactly? I don't remember. I remember hearing the headlines, but I don't remember what her statement was or what side of the argument she was even on.
let me look this up. Like as I type through my laptop and um, uh, like I, as I look through like Melissa Barrera quote, um, it was
She posted in support for Palestinian liberation and condemnation of Israel's ongoing violence in Gaza following the October 7th Hamas attack in neighboring Israeli towns.
she said, I will continue to speak for those that need it most and continue to advocate for peace and safety, for human rights and freedom. Silence is not an option for me. She kind of like doubled down on the original statement, but I'm looking for like what this was. Um, she, oh, this is so hard. So hard to like live sift through links. But she did make comments comparing this to the Holocaust to boost the Israeli arms industry.
Yeah.
So the I think comments that comparing it to other um, situations in history, what she also said was genocide and ethnic cleansing were like her direct statements. So I think it was just the comparison people
Yeah.
looked at of like comparing this to the Holocaust. Obviously, it's a very sad situation of what's going on. It's been going on for so many years, but it'll be interesting to see what happens and looking back on this moment like years from now, or any other celebrities speaking about, or Barrera if she ever does like anything else reflecting on this years later.
Yeah. She said Gaza is currently being treated like a concentration camp.
Yeah. Very, again, like polarizing more so words.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people are in support of Palestine. And so I think people
Yeah.
were looking at like the word choicings and, you know, all
Yeah.
of that.
She accused them of genocide and ethnic cleansing. Yeah. These are
Yeah.
some very strong words.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I was like, it's the word usage that really had people like, whoa, like this is, it got people's attention. Um,
Got it.
but
And then,
obviously, sad news going into our music stuff. Taylor Swift's concert was canceled after a terror plot that was failed. Um, and so, like, it seems that her Vienna show was targeted. We're going in like back to back, like very like big
heavy.
like heavy news. But her Vienna concerts may have been canceled, but fans were still, eager to show their
They
support for the
showed up.
singer.
Yeah.
And they were near the Ernst Happel Stadium to sing songs and trade friendship bracelets still. So, obviously as an artist, you're incredibly sad. What happened in Manchester was also extremely sad. But
Yeah.
as an artist too, like I don't know what probably someone like Taylor Swift feels right now, being like she does have a lot of attention on her. And to think about the idea that someone could be targeting your place, which is
Yeah.
a concert, happy thoughts and more. She's probably going through a lot now of like, I've been on this world stage, but now like it's on a different territory of wanting to inflict harm to like
Yeah.
fans and general public. So I don't know what's going to happen with the tour, but it sounds like this changes the rest of the tour. This long tour. It's had a lot of stuff, a lot of headlines come out about it.
It's been a very long tour.
Yeah.
It's been a very long shelf life on this new album that she dropped. No, I think it's unfortunate that that these incidents are happening at a concert where people are kind of coming together to have fun and to celebrate. I mean, despite me not being like the biggest Taylor fan, I do still like some of her music, and
Hmm.
I want her Swifties to go and share their bracelets and braid each other's hair as they sing "Shake It Off." But I mean, I do feel bad that now people, it's not just affecting Taylor, but it's affecting all these people that were looking forward to going and seeing her. I'm sure some of
Right.
these fans were going to be seeing her for the first time, and
Right.
it's an exciting experience for them that they now have to lose out on.
Yeah. To give background before we go to the next story of what this was, people obviously heard just connections to ISIS. It was the arrest of a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old who had a plan to carry out the attack using
Yeah.
explosives and knives. Very sad. The government obviously intervened, but the aim was to kill one of the people as like a suicide attack
Yeah.
during the concert, either quote unquote today or tomorrow. Like there were 3 shows that were supposed to happen. They're all canceled. So, but yeah, the teens also reportedly plan to drive a bomb filled car into the crowd using explosives and machetes. So it
Crazy.
it is wild. Obviously, glad that didn't happen. Um, super wild. Just like to hear, and obviously our thoughts are with like those for their future safety of if they want to even go to a concert coming up too.
It's crazy. I mean, I'd imagine like it would then put like fear into other people going to other concerts. Like it's terrible that these terrorist attacks are now, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just unfortunate.
Well, if you look back at history too, Ariana Grande, she was
Yeah.
mortified after like Manchester. Shifting gears, she's also reflecting on her old music to bring things in a reset. Let's take a breath for a second. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, back to random silly bitch news. Obviously, we care about a lot of topics, but 2 other things to make a pivot.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Ariana and like how she's reflecting on her old music?
Yeah, so she was just on the Hot Ones
She did
talk show,
great.
YouTube
Yes.
talk show,
Yes.
um, and which I love, and I've purchased the
The kit.
hot sauce kit, and I've tested it. I still have Da Bomb in my fridge because I cannot eat
Because
it,
you
and it's
da
just
bomb.
I am Da Bomb.
Mm.
But yeah, it's just it's in there because it's like I literally I cannot handle this. Um, but so she was on it and she was asked about like her past music and asked about, are there certain songs that she cuts from her future shows? And she said that at first there were certain songs from like her earlier days when she first started that she couldn't listen to. She's like, if I ever listened to those tracks, they would just make me cry because I was in such a overwhelmed, stressful place when I was recording that music. And so
Hmm.
she's like, but now I've been able to kind of reintroduce it back into my life and look back at that music as like, grateful that those were kind of my starts. But she has made peace with those tumultuous times in her career.
She did a great job in Hot Ones. Like I love seeing celebrities do Hot Ones because like you get more of their like raw like emotional side, and just like unfiltered. Because like you have
Yeah.
fucking hot shit in your mouth and like
Should we do a Hot Ones challenge?
should should we? I mean, hot what? Hot like we should
The
do
hot
like
the kit.
oh we can do it. Oh yeah, like let's do the fucking kit. Let's do it with a guest, like a prominent guest, and be like
Yeah.
like a spill your guts, fill your guts, like James
Yeah.
Corden. That would be fun, in
Yeah.
my humble opinion. That's the collab without being a collab with Hot Ones.
Yes.
So be looking out in the future for that, everyone. In other music news, Cardi B, obviously, I don't know if you saw this, had
God.
a pregnancy like paralyzation scare where she was going down the stairs and she said like everything just kind of gave out. She couldn't really walk and she had to have her dad help her. But she said from like the waist down for like 2 days, she was just like
Why?
immobile. She said it's
What
happened
happened?
before. She just doesn't know. She said she felt something give out, um, but she said it was a very scary time. She it seems like tore a ligament overall. So
Oof.
she just talked about that on X Spaces, and yeah, she said it was a very freak accident. Um, she practically fell,
Cardi.
and to prevent herself from falling, she says she was holding herself to the railing. Her foot still slipped, and she, quote, kind of busted my ass. So,
Oof. Well, it's a good thing she's got a lot of ass to protect her.
I mean, same, same girl. But yeah, that's it, a lot of. I would like to bring us up to a more positive note in the rest of this episode. We've covered a lot of things that are very important to touch on. But
Yeah. Do
damn,
we have anything in our movie and TV news?
yeah, girl. Are you a romantic comedy person?
Depends on the night.
Well, Blake Lively's new romantic comedy, well, not
It
even a
ends
romantic
with
comedy,
us.
romantic movie has come
Yeah.
out.
We
Um,
were invited to the premiere of that, but it was in New York.
oh yeah, oops, things that just happened. It ends
Yeah.
without. It ends with Us is now about to be out, and so
Yes.
this is so funny because Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are within weeks of releasing movies from each other, and people are coining it as like Barbenheimer 2.0 of like it ends with us,
Oh,
and
I didn't
like
know they were doing that.
I don't think they're
What is
comparable.
Ryan Reynolds releasing?
He was in Deadpool.
Oh, that's not out yet?
No, it's already out, but like
Oh. That one
people are
came out and now it's her movie that's coming out and they're back to back. Got it. I
yeah,
thought he had another movie that was going to be coming out following her movie, but it was
no,
the other way
but it
around.
has Justin Baldoni. It's yeah, it's based off a number one best-selling book
Yeah.
about a girl who goes and makes a flower shop. She has someone who um, comes in and obviously they have a connection, which this is actually not as uplifting news as I want it to be, but it's about when you love someone and
Mm,
they're hurting you so much across the board, like overall, what do you do? And
break
she
up.
has a past love come into her life. Um,
Oh, I saw that.
so
Yeah.
it looks very interesting. I'll watch because like I people give me shit for this. I love A Simple Favor with Blake
It was
Lively.
like a toxic relationship and he
Yes.
came back. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about like what do you do? The marketing has been fun with like Ryan Reynolds like being in a lot of like different snippets to promote the
Yeah.
movie, but that is out. The premise of that overall, I thought it'd be like a little more like uplifting, but it's a very, if you're into like romance movies, there you go.
It looks good. I actually want to go watch it.
I'll go watch it with you. Remember I cried with you when I was watching Good Grief?
I know.
That
But
was
that was a sad one though. Like
that was
the guy
hard.
like dies at the beginning. That and then yeah, it was a sad movie.
Also potential for people who love Ted Lasso. I have never seen any of it.
Nope.
Ted Lasso season 4 is potentially in the works, so people get excited. They're basically waiting on Jason Sudeikis if he's ready to do another one.
Is he?
Don't know. That's the latest report that's come out. So
Well, good
I
for him.
good for her. I've never seen an episode of Ted Lasso. People say I love it. It was a very, very high up there performing Apple TV show.
Oh, that's great. The only thing I watch on Apple TV is the morning show.
The Did you see the oil of like Jennifer
Yeah.
Aniston like being thrown at? People were like, "Oh my god, is this real?" I'm like, "No, girls, she's
No,
just
it's part of the show.
it's part of the show." I actually would cry if I ever met her. I don't know, like she's like the one I'd be like a little starstruck, like mom.
Really?
Yeah,
They used to film the morning show
across
where
the
my
street
old
from you. Yeah.
yeah, where my old apartment was because it was like a busier street. So they would like turn it into New York and they would put like taxi cabs and hot dog carts all down our street and then they would
Oh,
film all around us.
I got a hot
And I
dog.
always wanted to like see her. I would look out my window and like they were always like covered with like all the lights and stuff. But so I never got a peek at her. But when the show did air, I'd be like, that's my street. I recognize that spot or I know where they did there.
In other general news, you put in something about Pamela Anderson.
Oh yeah, she says that people like her now.
What do
She
you
said
mean?
that
Like,
she did an interview with Best Homes and Garden, and she told them because now she's like doing this makeup free thing, which I'm like, but like sometimes we can put on like a little bit of a brow, just like a little something. But there's like the no makeup look, and so but she says that um, now that she doesn't wear makeup, that like people like her and they find her, I guess, relatable. Where she's like, but before, nobody, people did not like me, like they were mean to me, and I think it was because she was often like that real sexy pinup girl kind of style,
she
like
was
the
like a butt of a
blonde
joke
hair,
sometimes, unfortunately.
yeah. Um, but I mean, I get it because she leaned very heavily into her sexuality and she was big on makeup and like, showing her boobs and like wearing really skimpy clothes. That now that she's tamed down that approach and she's a bit more granola and she doesn't wear makeup anymore and her clothes aren't as skimpy and she kind of like has just leaned into like the granola mom vibe.
Ooh, I
She
love
says that
Granola Mom.
people like her now, but they didn't like her
I've still
before.
liked her. I mean, I think she's funny. She
I
seems
loved
cute.
her when she was hot, sexy Pamela, and she had the tits out, and she was living her best life. I loved that Pamela. I actually
I like
liked
both.
that Pamela better than this one.
Oh, okay.
This one's boring,
Well, anyway.
and she's still in love with Tommy Lee, and she thinks.
Oh,
Did you see her documentary, Love Pamela?
yeah.
Oh, no, that was the book,
That was great. I really like learned so much more about her like through
and
that.
that's the what is it? That it ends with us.
That's
She's
the
still
it ends with us like
she's still
IRL.
hooked on Tommy Lee, and I'm like, no, he's no good for you.
You're no good for me.
Love doesn't win.
Um, Speaking of love, I
Yeah.
love our pivots. Sometimes we're really good. Sometimes we're really fucking flat in our face. I love and hate us. Um, Fans think that Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco are engaged. Zach, why do they think this? Like,
Did you see her Instagram photo?
no.
She posted a photo
Oh no.
on her Instagram story, okay? And she's in this really cute like champagne dress,
As you should.
and it's a mirror selfie. So she has the phone in the mirror, but on her ring finger she put a heart emoji, so you can't see what people are assuming is a ring on her finger.
Girl knows how to make good press.
Yeah, she knows how to get people talking.
She knows how to get people talking. She's like,
Even remember when there was like the writer's strike and then they weren't technically allowed to promote Murders in the Building, and then she like posted, oh, I miss being on Murders in the Building, and then it got everybody talking about it because like, you're not supposed to be promoting this, and she's like, I didn't promote it, but now I got everybody talking about it.
Scab.
So, but the photo itself is so juicy.
I mean, I I know people are gonna compare her and Justin and Haley and be like, just because they have a baby, like you have to do like a one up. By the way, I also had my first Haley Bieber smoothie from Erewhon.
I
Not
saw that. What was your take?
nothing but fucking sugar. That's all I
It's
feel.
all
Like
so sweet.
it was. I literally. You think I need more sugar in my body? No. Do you
No.
see how I operate? Do you hear my voice? Do you think I need anything but a Celsius? Like Celsius works. Haley Bieber
Wait,
smoothie is probably like Celsius on crack.
I just discovered that because I was looking at this. I was in my bodega, as JLo would say. I was in my bodega the other day and I wanted to get a coffee, but I wasn't in the mood for a coffee. So I was going to get an energy drink. And so I decided, let me look at the different energy drinks and let me see how much caffeine is in these energy drinks because I don't want anything crazy. I didn't know. A Celsius is one of the most
Yeah.
like caffeine drink. It more than a Red Bull. A Red Bull has less caffeine than a cup of coffee.
Yeah. There's a
A
lot of them that have
sugar-free
over
Red Bull.
350 milligrams. There's an Alani that has like just up there and more. But
It's
yeah,
crazy.
Celsius will get me going.
Look at
Sometimes I won't be able to sleep too. Oh, she looks good. Oh,
look
yeah,
look
that
at
heart is prominent.
it's right on her ring finger.
She's probably like hoping for something soon. Benny Blanco, see this. Like,
But
yeah.
like come on. It's right on the ring finger.
Maybe she's like hoping that like this is a hint like Benny proposed. I want to have a child. Um,
Mm. So you don't think she's engaged?
I don't think she's
I think
engaged.
that would be too obvious if she were engaged.
Yeah, I think she'd rather do it a different way. She's just like, might have some news for you soon. Um, aside from love, our unfortunate last piece of news is about Paramount.
What's going on with Paramount?
In our industry news, we we're getting a big, 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 must I say big, um, layoff. Like they're cutting 15% of the entire company. So
Oof.
2,000 employees in a fresh round of cuts. Paramount Global will cut, yeah, expecting a record 300 to 400 million dollar restructuring plan in Q3. So people are like, if you survive this, you're going to survive for next like year or two until this new Skydance merger happens. But Zach, I have to ask you,
Mm.
do you have Paramount Plus?
No.
Thank you.
Does anyone?
I mean, that's the thing. If you think of your top streamers right now, your have to haves. Netflix is a staple.
Hulu,
You're like maybe Hulu, maybe HBO
Peacock,
Max, some
Max,
yeah,
Apple.
like you're all like Disney Plus people consider sometimes, and
Sure.
then like Amazon Prime people consider sometimes, but
Mm.
it's like yeah, they're still the household staples, but Paramount Plus has never been on that like I have to have it.
What is on Paramount Plus?
You have Stars, you have Nick, you have CBS stuff. Um, it's a range. It's like the real like umbrella has BET, like a lot of content,
Oh,
but
well,
people
in
were
that
really
case,
people were really outraged that all the stuff that happened lately for Viacom, like MTV News,
oh
MTV.com,
yeah,
is now
oh yeah.
redirecting to Paramount Plus. They got rid of news and
Oh,
everything else. So that was a big
I
deal.
heard. I didn't know they were redirecting everything. They're
They've
trying to
just said
save us.
like let's get everyone to Paramount Plus. So obviously this whole like Skydance media merger expected to close by September 30th, 2025. But um, yeah, Showtime, MTV Entertainment Studios, and Paramount Media Networks will cut jobs in the marketing and communications department at the company with
Oh, that's the most important.
I know they always cut that, but there's some other finance and other corporate functions are going to be doing deal with, but the layoffs are by the end of 2024. So Paramount Global had 21,900 employees worldwide as of the end of last year. In February, they just cut 800 positions. Currently, the company is, just
Everybody's
celebrated
getting
SpongeBob.
fired these days.
They just had SpongeBob 25 years. That's
Good
all
for
I can tell
SpongeBob.
you. I went for Comic Con, had a great time,
Fun.
loved the team. I'm
Was fun.
hopeful. I mean, I have friends who are also like in publicity at Paramount. I have friends like who used to work at Paramount and they've gone through so many different changes, but like this is the biggest layoff we've had this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens overall,
Yeah.
but it's not Paramount's year, in my
No, I
opinion.
mean, this was what Spotify and Netflix prior.
I mean, if you're looking overall, Disney laid off
And
2%,
we're
BBC
just
laid off
cutting people
500
left and right.
people, Pixar cut 14% of people, um, BuzzFeed cut 16% back in February. It's a lot that's been happening. So, like, it just goes on and on and on. Media's fucked. That's why we made a podcast. Media's fucked.
Yeah, that's why everyone just go independent.
Go
That way you can't
independent.
get fired. It's not easy being independent sometimes. You have your peaks and valleys,
No.
but at least you can't get fired.
That's why we say number one, leave a review, subscribe, because like as much as we're like cool, it's like we're independent to be able
Yeah.
to keep doing this and give you news and give you what you love. Like the support extremely appreciated from both of us, goes a long way. We
And it's
obviously
free to leave a review. It's free to subscribe. It's free to drop a little like button.
hit it, smash
Hit
it,
it.
smash or pass.
Smack
I'd
it.
smash,
Spank it. Just
spank it.
spank the like button. Spank
Um,
it.
but yeah, in other news, like it's just been a weird time. Like this stuff happening um, changes the media landscape every time something you know comes up. It's like, what are we gonna do? Don't know. What's gonna happen? Don't know. New functions on Instagram, like you can now put 10 plus photos on a carousel. That little
Really?
changes, yeah. As of today, little changes like that change how we really just put out stuff. You're going to see more like shit dumps, shit posting on Instagram than ever. You know, the poll function is now a thing that a lot of users have ability to on Instagram, but like these social platforms are also taking away from where you get other content.
That's true.
So here we are whoring ourselves out online for your
Our
comfort.
man in finance.
Anything
Trust
coming
fund.
up exciting for you, Zach?
Five blue eyes. Finance. Trust fund. Nothing crazy. I'm just trying to stay alive in this economy.
I know. I'm just trying to stay alive. I'm going to Chicago. If you're in Chicago, say
Fun.
hey. Send me a message. Give me a rec. I got to do a couple of interviews while I'm there with AT&T. I'm very excited. And cover an event for Facebook. So,
Fun. It's gonna be
other
an
than that,
eventful trip.
an eventful time. We'll be blessed and stressed, and I'll be back to record more episodes of the podcast next week with this bitch.
Yay.
All right,
Can't
well,
wait.
if there's nothing else, have a blessed day. Zachary, I'll talk to you in a minute, and we'll see you all real
Okay.
soon.